hundreds of millions of dollars in tax credits. Stephen Guilbeault, Justin Trudeau, Mark Carney, Chrystia Freeland telling Canadians that battery plants and electric vehicles were going to save the world. Unfortunately for the Liberal Party, they have cut off funding for anyone that wants to purchase an electric vehicle. Welcome to the Canadian Shield. My name is Sterling. I'm your host. The federal Liberal Party, with all of its contradictions and all of its upheaval, quietly paused incentives for people to purchase electric vehicles. Pause for an incentive for zero-emission vehicle program from Transport Canada on January 10th. The Government of Canada is dedicated to supporting Canada's transition to net zero emissions, including accelerating the transition of zero-emission vehicles. This is why Transport Canada introduced the Incentive for Zero-Emission Vehicle IZEV program in 2019. The IZEV program has been a huge success, with over 546,000 vehicles having been incented, which I'm not sure there's a word, but okay, through this program since it began, helping Canada reach a new ZEV market share of 11.7% in 2023, a significant increase from 3.1% in 2019. New ZEV market share reached 14.2% in the first three quarters of 2024, including new record highs of 16.5% in the third quarter of 2024. It makes you wonder why they would stop if they were achieving so much. The IZEV program was scheduled to pause on March 31st, 2025, or once all of the available funding had been accessed by Canadians. Canadians will benefit from incentives until the program's funds are exhausted. Canada Business and Organization purchasing or leasing zero-emission trucks will continue to benefit from the incentive for medium and heavy-duty zero-emission vehicles program, which continues until March 31st, 2026, subject to funding availability. Here's my favorite part. I am delighted to see the success of the IZEV program. Since 2015, our government has been committed to building a greener economy and combating climate change. We will continue to engage with industry, environmental groups, and across jurisdictions to foster collaboration in decarbonizing the country's transportation sector and becoming a global leader in zero-emission vehicles. The Honorable Anita Anand, Minister of Transportation and Internal Trade, who then, 2 days later, resigned and said that, not resigned, but she indicated that she would not be running in the next election. It is amazing to me that the Liberal Party has all of this money to send to Ukraine. They have all of this money for these private jets that they fly around, has all of this money to run all kinds of programs. And, they talk about how everything's got to go green, but they don't put all of the money that they needed into the program. I find that very, very strange. I did a little digging on this program, and there's an important update right at the start of it. The incentives for the zero-emission vehicle program funds have been fully committed. Consequently, the IZEV program has now officially paused. We encourage you to visit the frequently asked questions as they have been updated. With regards to the program's pause, for additional questions, please write. However, I saw an article from the Car Dealers Association and a couple of the car manufacturers and the battery manufacturers who are all part of this incentive program. And they said the portal's closed. So anyone who made the application, but the dealer didn't get around to sending it, to putting it in electronically, there's some limbo now on who's eating that $5,000, whether that's going to be dropped onto the person who's purchasing the car, or if that's going to be eaten by the dealer, or if that's going to be eaten by the manufacturer. The government simply shut the door, and that was that. I mean, you can't find the money for this program if the electronic vehicles are so important. I suspect that it had a lot to do with a report that came out recently that the decarbonization of Ontario has increased the cost of electricity by 76%. 76%. I'm working on that story. There was a couple of interesting things in this in this breakdown for the program that I wanted to talk about. Now, it says they ran out of money, that's why they paused. Does the pause impact incentive on medium and heavy-duty vehicles? No, but who can buy a truck that's electric? Maybe for a bus or something. I don't mean like a city bus, but I mean maybe you have a school system or maybe something to that effect that might be able to still be an incentive. But I mean, as soon as you put weight onto any electric battery, it starts to drain dramatically. So I don't imagine there's too many dump trucks or what have you that have that kind of thing. Though I suppose there is some market for medium duty trucks. It stands to reason. Now there was a whole bunch of other, press release stuff that they put into this little website. I came down a little bit to look at some of the ins and outs of the program. Are demonstrator vehicles eligible? And it'll only be worked for a car that's demonstrator if it's got less than 10,000 kilometers on it, which I find very strange. The one that I really take issue with is, are electric bikes, e-bikes, scooters, and motorcycles eligible under the IZEV program? No two-wheeled vehicles like motorcycles, e-bikes are not eligible. The IZEV program was created to reduce emissions from gas and light trucks, which produce 50% of the transportation-related greenhouse gases in Canada. With that goal in mind, the program requires vehicles to have at least 4 functioning wheels and be highway capable, intended for use on public roads and highways, and meet all Canada Motor Safety Vehicle standards in order to receive an incentive. There's lots of gas-powered two-wheeled vehicles. And why are you limiting the choice? If what you're saying to yourself that you want to get rid of cars, or do you want to introduce electric vehicles? Right? Are you just trying to target one specific market, or are you trying to take the culture to a new place? It stands to reason that if you give a $500 discount to every 14-year-old that wants to buy an EV, they are going to ride an EV for many, many years. It doesn't matter that it won't go on the highway, or it shouldn't matter. It should only matter that they can get access to this vehicle, that they put money into it, and that they're now learning how to handle, look after electronic vehicles, which in Canada is something of a problem, right? Don't forget, we can't charge them when it's -0, like when it's below -0, you're not supposed to plug them in. And there's other issues, but it seems to me that this is just yet another program that is only half of an investment from the Liberal government. Big talk. Stephen Guilbeault, Anita Anand, Justin Trudeau, Mark Carney, talk, until it comes to the point of actually filling it and to fulfillment. I don't see any of the federal Liberals driving around when Justin Trudeau pulls out in his caravan of Suburbans or whatever they are, SUVs, and there's 6 or 7 of them. Not a single one of them is electric. I don't imagine Stephen Guilbeault's limousine or chauffeur-driven car is electric either. Now here's another one that I took issue with. Are pre-owned zero-emission vehicles eligible? No, only new zero-emission vehicles are eligible. New vehicles are ones that have not been plated before, except demonstration vehicles. Demonstrator vehicles can be registered and plated to the dealer authorized selling the demonstrator purposes for prior being registered and plated, which we now know is only under 10,000 kilometers. Anything over that, and no, the car cannot be sold. So now you're killing the used market. Now you take, again, let's think about the young guy, the young person, the 16, the 17-year-old who may want to purchase an electric vehicle, and how perhaps let's even consider that they could be purchasing it off their parents or their uncle or their neighbor, who then can go out and buy a brand new one and sell the used one to the young fella who doesn't have all the money and who needs a reduction in their insurance payment. So now you're not even generating the economy of the electric vehicles. You got nothing on 2 wheels and nothing on used. This is not a good look. This is not the way that you start to have a culture that is used to and aware of the electric, the lifestyle that goes along with owning an electric vehicle, plugging it in, having your house, the wattage up on your house, making sure that you can travel where all of the charging stations are, and all of the things that accompany relearning how to incorporate your vehicle inside of your lifestyle. It's only brand new, off the lot dealership stuff, right off the taxpayer. Forget about stimulating the economy with any of our incentive money. That's not what we're doing here. We're just trying to get people to give money to we just want to be able to give tax dollars to the corporations so that they will build those vehicles, and so that they will come here and tell us that we can build battery factories, which of course they all backed out of, because the electric car is not anywhere near as capable and competent as people want you to believe. And in addition, and more accurately, the network is not set up to charge them. However, two-wheeled vehicles do seem to have quite a large life in like many of the Asian countries. They seem to do well in Southern America. So there would have been a market for us to generate these vehicles as two wheels and sell them to other markets, or at least the batteries that go inside of that. But again, the Liberal Party, with their zealotry, with their ideologue lenses, can't look outside of the box. And because they are from the far left, they cannot balance a checkbook, so that not only does the program not cover all of the bases, but it runs out of money. All the while, they're hoping that they can have their budget passed by March 31st to reinitialize this. But that's not looking too handy dandy, because we still have a big fight coming in March between the incoming leader of the new incoming prime minister versus the old prime minister versus the conservative Quebecois, Bloc Québécois and the NDP. So inside of all of that, somehow you think that the fall economic budget is going to get passed while we talk about giving more money to this program. I swear, I have yet to see anything that was handled by the Liberal Party that is working the way that it was designed.